episode number 55 with Scott Stewart. Welcome to the Heads Up Poker Podcast. This is Steve Barton.
This is Mike Schneiderman. How you doing, Stevie?
Awesome. And yourself?
Pretty good. Do you think we should change our intro music? I love My Sister. I'm just thinking, I really want to hear, like, Zeppelin when the levee breaks or something. A little more, something, adrenaline burst at the beginning of the show. No, I get
You know who's got a really cool intro is, have you listened to Corey Weiland's Blunt Sessions?
No, what does he have?
I don't know who it is, but it's probably one of the catchiest tunes I've ever heard in my life. It is, we're going to have him on the podcast here pretty soon, and we can ask him who it is, but it, very, very catchy tune. It just kind of gets you all upbeat, and it's cool. It's cool.
It's just it's not a couple potheads playing the spoons. That's kind of what I would picture.
You know, that's exactly what I pictured, especially with the title Blunt Sessions. But no, it's not. He says it more like, I'm being blunt with you. Like, I'm going to tell you straight up, this is how it is, and you played that hand terribly. It's kind of like that.
Right. Okay, yeah, I'll look. He's got an interesting way, an interesting approach to coaching and some things. So that'll be a good interview.
Yeah.
But who do we have today?
Today we have Scott Stewart. This guy is a rock star in the circuit world. He's already won 4 rings. And I imagine he's not going to stop there. I'm sure he's going for 5 and 6. He's pretty impressive. So that's all thanks to you.
I for the first time, I actually got off my lazy ass and got us a guest here.
You did. I was proud of you. That was pretty awesome.
It's astounding. I don't know what else I'm capable of here.
Oh, you guys might have noticed that this episode came out a couple days early. And we did that on purpose because we have something special to announce. It's a class that's coming out, a webinar. Elliot Rowe and Dr. Tricia Cardner are putting on a webinar entitled How to Make 2016 Your Breakthrough Poker Year. I'll be in the class right beside you. They're going to teach us how to set your poker goals and, more importantly, how to achieve them. So I talked to Elliot about this, and he said what he's going to teach. He has a step-by-step system for making 2016 your poker year. He's going to highlight how to pinpoint the best areas in your poker game and focus on using those to create the most dramatic growth. How to achieve the success you want in poker without sacrificing other areas of your life. 3 reasons that you struggle to stick with your goals and how to stop them in advance. Going over habits to help you achieve your goals faster and other habits to avoid that will pretty much, at least in his words, guarantee that you'll fail. So I'm looking forward to it. He says he has this MVP technique for crushing it every day. I'm super, super excited. I hope that you'll join me. It's going to be on December 29th, so it's coming up soon. It'll be at 12 o'clock noon Pacific time. If you're on the East Coast, it'll be 3 p.m. And we know we have a lot of listeners in Europe, so it'll be 8 p.m. in England, in London time, so you can add from there. So just click on the link down in the show notes that say 2016 Breakthrough Poker Webinar, and I'll see you there. So I am excited. If you got to call in sick to work, do it. Just let's go learn what we can do to set a New Year's goals for 2016.
You still listen to Elliot before and after every session, or how frequently do you? I know you're a big Elliot guy.
I don't play unless I listen to one of his tapes first. I've gotten to the point now to where I probably only have to listen to his tape to fall asleep, maybe 50% of the time. And usually it's when I go on those long sessions, like when we were when you were railing me the other night, and I think I had 12 tournaments and I final tabled 2 of them, and I got like 5th and a 4th, and I was just like, ugh! And so I had to listen to it that night so I could go to sleep. But the ones where I bink a tournament, or the ones where I basically get nothing, I don't even cash in any of them, those times I don't seem to need it. It's like when I get so close I can taste it, it's just like I can't turn my brain off, But before a session, sure. I listen to them every time. It's part of my routine,
And by the way, I think this is like the 5th time I've railed you at a final table and given you a horrible piece of advice to knock you out. I'm wondering, Steve, has it occurred to you that I'm doing this deliberately? I mean, I don't know, subconsciously.
What was
You winning a $3 turbo for some reason just fills me with rage. I don't know what. I am.
You're like, shove the 7-2. What are you thinking? Come on.
Let's be honest, Steve. Let's start over. Am I the worst human being you've ever met?
No, I was like, I think wasn't it King 8 offsuit? I was like in the cutoff with 9 bigs or something. Something to that effect.
I think it was Jack 9 off, but it was from the hijack. So you had to go. You only had like 7.5 bigs, but you had to go through 4 people.
Oh, okay.
And I don't know. Afterwards, you looked at the chart, and Jack 10 was a shove, and Jack 9. So
that's
it was.
Right. Yeah.
But I don't know. I played. I did another like a long cash session last night.
How'd that go?
Like 1,600. I made like 1,600. So I've won, I think, 5 of my last 6 times since in the last 2 weeks. Up 6 or 7K. So the one loss was for 3K. So that was kind of a swift kick in the nuts. But other than that, I'll back to the tournament grind here shortly. But
cool, good deal. Well, it sounds like you're starting to figure out the live cash.
Yeah, maybe. Hard to say. I mean, there's still like a couple hands a night where I'm like, basically, if I were like a real pro cash game guy, like rather than say being up 6,000 over the last 2 weeks, it feels like I should be up like 9. There's that one pot a night that I'm bluffing at I shouldn't be, and there's always 1 or 2 people I'm calling that I shouldn't be. I mean, I guess when everything's going right, this is profitable because if I'm calling too much, people are maybe not bluffing me or going for maximum value, and if I'm bluffing too much, they're going to, all that kind of stuff. But like last night, some guy made, I thought, like a real scared bet on the river, like a $60 into like 300 or something ridiculous. And so I popped it to 350 with my broken draw. And he's like, he called with pocket queens, the overpair.
Oh.
But, it's just a guy you don't bluff. And there's a couple others where I just, a little stuff like a pocket tens. I mean, there's a little stuff. I'm glad I'm focusing on these are all the hands that make a difference, obviously, every time.
Yeah.
But there was like pocket tens, and the guy I raised, I called small blind, 6-6 deuce. I bet he calls. I kind of thought where he was going for. I certainly thought I had the best hand, so I kind of potted it on the flop, and then the turn was like a 5, so 6-6-5 deuce, and again I potted it probably $175, and the river was a king, and I don't know, just out of instinct, for some reason, if he's got ace king or whatever, it's an easy bet. I should be value betting there every time, and if I have to bet fold, I have to bet fold, which of course I hate more than anything in the world.
I know, that's so tough to do.
But it's an easy bet. I mean, I got to go for more value there because he's got. I mean, I guess occasionally he shows up with jacks, and if I bet, I'm betting his hand. But anyways, it goes check, and I had 10s and he had 7s. So I mean, not infrequently, you go for thinner value, you're betting the guy's hand. But if you believe in your hand reading skills, I kind of knew where he was at, and. Yeah, the one pro that I'm pretty good friends with there is just like just kind of joking. What, you don't like money? He would have bet that river every time because it looks like a bluffing card too, obviously.
Yeah.
For this guy. So I'm starting to get it. I'm just taking marginal hands and just not getting into trouble with them a little less. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Somebody opens from early position. King 10 in this. Someone else makes a 25 under the gun if I have King 10 off in the small blind. That's just a fold. I mean, you can flop 2 pair.
What was it? Say that again.
King 10 off in the small blind to an early position. I mean, even if you got 25, 500 big blind, So tightening my pre-flop range has solved a lot of problems, I think.
Yeah, it gets you out of those sticky situations on the turn and river.
Yeah, well, I mean, if I do take a flop with it, I'm probably not going. I'm not going to be bluffing, going crazy with it, anyways. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I'm not going to be calling the gutter ball and then bluffing the turn and all that kind of shit.
You get those odd situations where, okay, you flop 10 is the high card on the board, and well, the guy definitely has jacks and queens and kings and aces in his range. And by just letting that hand go right there and letting go of your $5 in the small blind, you're not inviting those awkward turns and rivers,
Right. There's one guy last night who was just, he was good for the game, let's just say. I immediately gave him like $2,000 out of the chute. I can't even remember. Oh, I had aces, and he turned two paired with 6-8, and he bet. I've seen him bluff, so, I mean, you just got to pay the guy off.
Yeah.
You see him winning hands with like 3-9, and, I mean, just want to see. So that's it. Basically, you want to be in every pot with the guy, I think. Yeah. But, that's costly because, other people get in the pot with crap hands, so. Last night I was down like 3K, or I was at 3K into the game, and finally I'm like, you know what, this guy, Gary said, I got to leave by 10 o'clock, and I looked up at the clock, and it was like 7 o'clock. I'm like, okay. So I just kind of slowed down and waited for hands, and then, I flopped a full house, and then just like overbet like crazy. Like 150, 400, 900 or something, and I got paid off, yeah. Oh, he had trips, so he was, but he didn't even stop to think about the bet side. Like, oh, I got a hand, you know what I mean? So,
perfect.
Perfect. Yeah, quickly to our other friends, other than Elliot Rowe, I got to say, Tournament Poker Edge. Have you been? I don't know if you've been watching videos, but I had the first video series there where I got really super. I'm always excited, but super excited in a while. Daryl Jace has a hand history review from Bovada.
I haven't seen that one yet. I've been on the Soros one, his 109 win.
Right.
But I just about wrapped that up, and then I'm going to move on to the next one.
But I mean, usually I'm pretty smart, so at this point I think I've said I'm like looking for just one hand per hour where I'm like, oh, hold on a second.
Yeah.
But like Daryl Jace right out of the box kind of blasted me with a few things, and I'm like, oh yeah, like one of those things is like right away I'm going to win 300 big blinds over the next month just because of what he was talking about bet sizing and that kind of thing and ranking your opponent.
Oh, nice.
So anyway, if you're not if you're not a TPE member, now is a great time to join because, like I said, Daryl makes some of the best videos, and this one's off to a great start. Like I said, I only watched the first piece of it, but
yeah, if you're on the fence about joining, go for it. Treat yourself to a Christmas present, treat yourself to a New Year's Eve resolution, whatever you want to call it. But click on the link down in the show notes, or go to HeadsUpPoker.Poker, and we got a link right there that'll take you straight to the sign-up page, and you help out your favorite podcast. So, speaking of which, we got a question. You remember Robbie Clapper?
Yep.
We have a question from him. Actually, I think it's more for me. He says, hey guys, still loving the show. My question is for Steve. I'm going to kind of bask in this for a minute here.
I hope this isn't the Boxers or Briefs question because we had more important stuff to talk about.
He says, this question is for Steve. Do you use any of the information you got from being a pickup artist at the poker table? The looking for tells or reads on people. I also have a suggestion on a future guest. I think Chris Fox Wallace would be a great guest for you guys to get on. He is a tournament and cash game grinder who makes a living at playing poker. Thanks again for a great show. Sincerely, Robbie. Well, thank you, Robbie. Thank you for writing in. I actually contacted Chris Wallace, and he agreed to come on the show. So we're going to schedule him in the future. So thanks for the suggestion. Nice. And on to your question, do I use any of the information I got from being a pickup artist at the poker table? I think I actually kind of do. And I don't know that, and I'm not at the poker table picking up on girls or anything, but in going through that process or that journey, I had to learn many, many different social situations, recognizing who the alpha male in the group was. Who's the guy that's in charge? Who's the guy that wants to protect his ego? Recognizing all those little social cues that I wouldn't have learned otherwise. And so, yeah, I think I kind of do. And it's not, like I said, it has nothing to do with picking up on women. It has more to do with just recognizing this social dynamic that exists while you're sitting at the poker table and using it to your advantage. The biggest part, I would say, is it's mostly men that play, and one of the things that you have to learn as a pickup artist is how to befriend other guys. Because like I've said before, most of the time women don't go out by themselves. Most of the time when they go out, they're in some kind of group, and a lot of times they have a guy there to kind of quote unquote protect them. You know, he's the guy friend that's there. You have to learn how to befriend that guy so that you can go and talk to the girl. Because if you don't befriend the guy, there's no way that you're going to be able to create an environment where you can talk to her. So yeah, I would say I do use it, although not directly. I use the skills that I learned when I was becoming a pickup artist to befriend everyone at the table, get them to like you, and then, you know, they don't put in that extra value bet on the river when they really should. You know, they do kind of you know, check it down when they really shouldn't. You know, they don't put you all in when they should. You know, you can get things like that. You can get them to call when they know that they shouldn't.
So, Steve, if you wanted to become a winning tournament poker player, you could only do one of two things. Which would it be? Join Tournament Poker Edge or have a threesome with a couple tie hookers?
Well, maybe one of those has already been fulfilled, so I would probably join TPE.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm just trying to figure it out. I mean, I basically, I sort of, Steve, I got short-term memory loss. I know Thailand somehow figures into pickup artistry, so I was wondering if you want to be a good heads-up specialist, you want to be a heads-up specialist, go to a Thai cafe and just stare at the women. That'll teach you.
Awkward. Well,
can we get Scott on here, please?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking right now. Okay, without further ado, Scott Stewart. Scott Stewart, yeah. Welcome. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Did you get a look at Scott's beard there, Steve, while it is up on video?
I did. That's a pretty impressive beard, man.
That's a bitchin' beard, man. I wouldn't want to go heads up with that guy.
It's not as impressive as it was 6 months ago. That was like, I think I grew it out for like 10 months. It was getting real homeless. Oh boy.
I was checking out your Instagram account, and I could tell right away that you and I have something in common.
What is that?
The love of beer.
Yes, that is number one in my book.
Me too. What do you like? Do you like the IPAs, or do you like stouts, or what?
You know, I'm not a creature of habit. I love all beer. It depends. Like kind of where I live, it's like the craft beer district of Southern California. So, you know, I walk into a liquor store, and each time there's some kind of new crazy beer they're inventing, and I got to try it.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
Of course, when Scott's doing a keg stand, it's hard to get his taste buds aren't necessarily operating. When they drop him down, he's like, "What was that anyway?"
Yeah, I'm the same way. I like all the odd stuff. You know, I like the variety packs and the. I've been on an IPA kick for about a year now. Before that, I liked stouts a lot, and but yeah, I love them all. I saw one of them too. Have you been to Colombia? I saw you drinking Club Colombia.
Yes, I went down there for, I want to say about 15, 16 days. I don't know, 4 or 5 months ago. Played some online poker down there. So
nice.
Yeah, it's a good time. I got a friend that lives there full time, and he has a pretty cool spot and beautiful place.
Where was he at? My wife's from Colombia. I've been there half a dozen times.
He was in, what's the name of the capital?
Bogota.
Yeah, we're in Bogota.
Okay, yeah, cool. Traffic's pretty gnarly down there, huh?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
So, Scott, where are we talking to you from here? I know we already introduced you as a circuit grinder extraordinaire. I just saw you in L.A. Were you off to the next stop here?
You know what? Me and some friends are going to Tunica in mid-January.
Okay, nice.
So I actually I've been to the West Coast this year for the circuits, and then LA's had some pretty good tournaments, just series so far. But I won a casino championship down there in Tunica, and they comp everything down there. So free steaks every night and a bottle of wine. I'm not going to say no again.
Oh, nice.
Nice. Yeah. So we talked about we got 4 rings, and it looks like you have. Do you already have? For those who don't know, it's like they have at the end of the year. They got a national championship, and it depends on the circuit points. And I see you're up in the circuit standings. Do you kind of feel you have that locked up, or do you still need one or two more cashes?
I need my goal is kind of 135 points. I'm at 122. It's going to happen with another stop in LA, and I'll go down to Vegas for the circuit there. So I pretty much have it locked up unless I just brick 16 tournaments, which could happen. I could do that.
Oh, we can.
It's happened before, I'm sure. Yeah,
possible, but
you were very close to you were very close to ring number 5 in LA. How second place is? Are you all about the money? Like, well, okay, at least it was a good payday, or does that sting for a while?
This one, it was a stinger. It hurt. I had him 5-1, and on 3 separate occasions I had him all in on the turn, and I was way ahead, and he got there. So, I mean, the guy just wouldn't fucking die. It was ridiculous.
Right.
So, it stung, but at the same time, it is what it is. It was like we played till 4:30 in the morning, so at that point I was like, just I want to go home.
Yeah.
Right. Do you drink beer while you're playing?
Say it again.
I was going to ask if you drink beer while you're playing. I was curious. 4:30 in the morning for you might be like, maybe I'll try coffee here after 17 Heineken.
No, I don't drink like that. If I think it's going to give me an edge on another player, or if like the whole table's drinking, I mean, I can slam beers all day and be sober and play perfectly fine. So
right.
If it's going to increase my chances of someone else making a dummy mistake, I will drink.
I like that.
I gotcha. That makes sense. Well, maybe we can take a step back. I looked at your Hendon. You got some. You've been around for a while here, man. Can you tell us how you got into poker?
Yeah, I like everyone watched it on TV when Moneymaker won. That was in high school. I mean, I was playing just like 2 or 3 table tournaments with friends in someone's garage back in high school, and that's how I was learning. I had no idea how to do it, but my dad used to play poker at the house I grew up in, and they're playing 7-card stud, chase the queen, black and white. They're playing all kinds of different games, just getting hammered, having a good time.
Yeah.
That's kind of where I took an interest to it. And then when I was playing with friends in high school, I found online poker, and the rest is history. Online poker is amazing.
You grind on Bovada, right? You don't play on any other sites? It's just exclusively Bovada? Or?
Yeah, I don't play that often. I've actually just looking at my new 27-inch monitor I got from Cyber Monday, so I'm going to start grinding a little more, take it a little more seriously.
Cool.
Nice.
I asked for a monitor for myself for Christmas. We'll see if Santa delivers. But,
So have you pretty much been a poker pro for? Have you had a real job, or have you been right since you had some success right away and have been able to ride the wave?
Actually, I played professionally online for 4 years, like 18 to 20, maybe more than that, 18 to 23, so about 5. And then when Black Friday happened, of course I was the dummy with 90% of my money on Ultimate Bet, so that was a good day.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I actually moved out of the country to Costa Rica, lived there for 5 months, played online with friends I met over the years, and I guess I didn't take it too seriously. We were in Costa Rica, so I went on a vacation every other week. Couldn't help it. But
sure.
And when I came back to Costa Rica, I just had no money, so I jobbed up for 2 years. I was selling cars in Anaheim and in Long Beach, and I actually really liked it. It was a cool experience. But when we actually met, Mike, that I probably quit my job about 2 weeks before I went to San Diego and just wanted to give playing professionally another shot. And obviously,
okay.
San Diego went well, and since the rest is history.
Very nice, man.
How long ago was that when you moved to San Diego?
I didn't move there. I went there for the circuit. I live in Long Beach, California. I live about an hour away from that.
Okay.
But that was about a year ago.
Huh.
Yeah. Just
right about the same time as you, Mike.
Yeah, I think I final tabled the first two events of that series, and I think did you win 2 rings that series? Was that the one you won the casino championship? No, Tunica, you said, yeah.
Yeah, no, I won the me and Mike actually final tabled the re-entry there, and I ended up winning that.
Ah, okay, nice.
Very nice.
So the correct one's in down there.
Yeah. So now that you're no longer jobbed up, Steve and I kind of want to start this podcast to just not even like talk poker, but like how do you survive in poker? And I thought you'd be a great one to ask that about. It always occurred to me that playing this circuit just couldn't possibly be profitable, but there's guys doing it. I mean that's got to be razor thin for survival, no? I mean, the rake is over 20% and travel and everything. I would think you need an ROI of like at least 80% plus just to pay the bills, no?
Yeah, you would. I got a pretty good living situation where I pay $600 a month, and I have very minimal bills, and I've got a good setup. Now, people that are paying more money, it's just not sustainable on the circuit. I mean, there's no way around it. I think there's a select few players that can do it. Your ROI's got to be through the roof, and kind of my thinking on it too is I select my stops very carefully depending on comps or things like that, or who I'm traveling with, because the travel, the room and board, the food, depending where you're at, is just you just can't.
Right.
It's not sustainable.
Okay.
Socially, you're traveling with you're traveling with your buddies, and you're playing poker, of course. So it's all party time on a certain level too, I'm sure.
Yeah, definitely. But I mean, it's when it comes down to business. Yeah, I gotta concentrate. Gotta be sober and not hungover when I play.
Yeah.
Sure.
Now this next
How
one,
are
when
you?
you're going
Are you?
into,
I'm sorry, Steve. Go ahead. I was going to ask if Scott's also a decent cash game player. Does that kind of factor into the economics of survival?
You know what? I'll play when I go to the circuit because some players they're just horrible at cash games, and I don't play cash games that often because I just feel I have such an edge in tournaments. Not to say that I can't play them. I could. I just don't put the time. And I mean, I actually listened to a couple of the podcasts when you were playing live at the Bike. The Bike and Commerce are the two closest casinos to me, and I don't want to put this nicely. The people there are not my favorite people in the world, but
no, that's well said.
I can relate to that.
Yeah. So I don't play cash as much, but I do know how to play cash. I just don't put in the time. I guess it's a portion of laziness, and my edge isn't big enough.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Now this next series, you're going to Tunica, so way out in Mississippi, and just so if you guys are listening in Australia and you have no idea where that is, it's almost across the country. So you're gonna have to get in a plane, and like, how long is the series? How many events are you gonna buy into? You're gonna get a free dinner every night. Do you get a room with that, or how?
Yeah. Well, that I guess what it is I'm going with 3 friends now.
Okay.
Mike, you might have met Vinny in San Diego.
Yeah,
I
know him. Yeah.
He's been a friend for like 8 years. We played online back in the day, and then he's a great travel buddy. So he's actually 7-star. So if he ever wants to go to a stop, I kind of piggyback him and say, hey, let's room together.
Okay. Yeah.
The free steak is more just in Tunica if you gamble at all. I'm not a big gambler, but I have a couple friends that are big gamblers, and they'll get comps to that. So we'll go just to the steakhouse or get pretty much free meals whenever we want. But it's more having the right travel buddies and that kind
right.
of
Okay.
And because of his excessive body hair, Scott can always sleep in like the parking lot, regardless of the time of year too. So that saves money.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
It stays warm. No. It's interesting. The circuit. I haven't gone to that many events, but I recognize always like at least half the people there. I'm sure for you, it's like you must be on like first name basis with a good part of the field every time, right?
Yeah, I've kind of got like my real close friends, and then there's some circuit grinders, and I guess I kind of try to keep to myself a little bit. But some people are just so nice you can't not have a beer, hang out, talk with them, whatever it is.
But, of course, like Vinny's one of the better players on the, I mean, I'm sure you guys are competitive, too, obviously.
Absolutely.
So, I don't know. I forget, how has he been doing this year? You just got a ring, is he? I think he's been doing well, too, if I remember.
Yeah, so far he's doing okay. He had what did he finish? He finished 5th place in the national championship, so he's kind of riding that right now.
Yeah, good for him.
Oh, that's right. How'd you do in that event last year? Did you go deep at all? Or?
No, it was one of those roller coaster days. You start with 30,000. I was down to 3,000, back up to 50, and then out in the next 2 hours.
Yeah. Mike just
So
had one of those.
I talked to you right after the summer. It sounds like, I mean, I guess this is just going back to the economics of poker. It sounds like you had a rough summer in Vegas, right after being on a tear in the circuit.
Yeah, Vegas.
Yeah,
Vegas
I mean, so it must be nice. It sounds like you've had an upswing. You just won another ring, and I mean, it must be relief as much as anything else when you go on a little mini heater, right?
Yeah, it was, after Vegas, just that heat and being there for so long, and I don't know how many tournaments I played, 20, 25, 27, something like that, and I only had 3 cashes, so that's, and one of the cashes was in one of those Planet Hollywood events where it was a $300 buy-in, and then you could re-enter, so I re-entered, came back for the second day, cashed for like $557, so I just lost money.
So you lost $40 after 2 days?
Yeah. So, I took some time off after summer and just kind of came home, went down to the beach, relaxed, didn't do too much, and then came back to poker, and it's been going good again. But yeah, rough summer for sure.
Where'd you stay in Vegas?
Me and I think 6 friends, we rented a house in, it was North Vegas somewhere. It was a nice house. The air conditioning would break every once in a while, and that was a nightmare, but beside that, it was great.
Yeah. My brother lives out there, so I go out there every year for the WSOP. And do you know any of the TPE guys?
I know Casey, Big Dog Pocket Fives.
Yeah, Jersey.
Played a lot of online poker back in the day, and I've met him a couple times, and we always we're thick as thieves. He's a cool cat.
Right on. Cool.
If you can step back and analyze your own game, but where do you think the edges come from here? I guess you just played a lot of hands and you're a smart player, but do you think there's something maybe late game that you have an edge even over some of the better players, some of the better regulars on the circuit?
Yeah, I think it's. I mean, I play a lot of hands. I mean, if you play with me, so I'm splashing around a lot, but you can tell. I mean, you'll know the players that are playing for money and that are playing for rings. So you can use it to your advantage. And I play the big stack pretty well, I think, but it's like if you've kind of looked at my hidden mob, it's more of if I don't min cash too often, I typically get a stack and then I make a deep run. So I think my edge is that, a lot of people play their hands face up and they play too cautiously, late game. I think that's where my edge really comes in.
That makes sense. I was just going to ask. I also wanted to ask about the main event there. I saw you cashed. Was there? I don't know if Steve told you. We were hoping you had a couple hands. I was wondering if there's any hands from the main events or from the recent stop that you might want to share.
Yeah, sure. I got a couple because I actually came into day 2 with 50,000, coming back with a big blind being 3,000. So I was a little short, but I worked up a nice stack. My bust hand is probably the biggest one that I haven't folded this hand a lot, but I gave it a lot of thought. I don't know if you've ever played with Alex Masick. He's the leading ring winner.
He's good. Yeah, I played with him.
He's good. He plays very snug, and he doesn't make many mistakes. So I actually, coming into about 50 left, it was 3,000, 6,000. I think I effectively started the hand with 150,000 roughly. Now, I kind of had an up and down day where I was up to 270 and then lost a real big race where I could have had about 400 at 3-6, which would have put me in real nice position. So after a couple hands, and I was pretty active at the table, the hand before my bust hand, I actually raised under the gun +1 with ace-jack suited, and Alex Masick actually 3-bet me, and I tank folded. I just didn't have enough to play post, and I couldn't shove. Just his range is too, he has it too often. So the next hand, I'm under the gun with queens with roughly 150,000 at 3,000, 6,000, and
25 big blinds.
Correct. And I'm a min raise specialist there, so I'm always making it, I make it 12,000. He calls in the hijack, so he calls 2 from the button, and the big blind completes. Now the flop is 9-4-2 with 2 clubs. Now I have the queen of hearts and the queen of clubs, so I do have my backdoor flush draw, and I decide to lead pretty big.
Okay, hold on just a sec, Scott. Hang on. So you were under the gun. You min raised, so you made it 12,000. The hijack, he calls the 12, and then the big blind also completes. Is that what you said?
Now the hijack that called me is the villain is a very good player.
Okay.
Alex, yeah.
And
okay.
the flop comes 2-4-9 with 2 clubs. I have the backdoor queen of clubs.
Okay.
How deep is Alex?
He has started the hand with roughly 200,000.
Oh.
Okay.
And I lead 22,500, and he raises to 55,000.
Okay,
and the
so
big
Hero leads. How much did you lead?
I led 22,500.
22.5, and what was the pot? About 40?
The pot was
35 or something.
It was 42,000.
42. Okay, so you bet a little bit more than half.
Correct. And the he raises,
He
and
makes it.
the big blind gets out of the way.
Okay.
Now, I roughly have 18 bigs behind, and so I have a little bit of background history with Alex. I won my first ring in San Diego, but Alex beat me heads up in Tahoe probably 4 years ago. And the guy ended up, he lives in Long Beach, lives down the street from me, so, I mean, he's a friend. And in this spot, he just never doesn't have it.
Yeah.
So I must have tanked for 4 minutes. I tanked for 4 minutes, and I almost just folded because him flatting like that, especially me, it's either screaming aces or he has a middle pair. Now, when he raises me, I'm thinking it's pocket nines.
Yeah.
Or, yeah, I mean, it's that or the ace-high flush draw. So when my mind's thinking, I'm thinking the only thing I can beat is the ace-x of clubs, where he's just raising me to get it in with the ace-high flush draw. So I eventually tanked for 4 minutes, and I really wanted to fold. And I think if I had 25 bigs behind, I could have folded and picked a better spot just because I feel like I have an edge on the field. But I didn't. I couldn't help myself. I went all in. He ended up having 2 aces. So
Okay.
that was a tough hand, and it took me a couple days to think about it, how I could have folded, but I just couldn't get away.
Yeah. Well, I don't think anyone can blame me on that. With the history though and stuff, I can see what you're saying. Like he's always got it there, and that's one of those where you're hoping he has the ace-high flush draw, in which case he still has a lot of equity against you.
Very true.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if he always has it. He hasn't won 9 circuit rings without stealing a few pots there. But
yeah,
it would seem like a bad bluffing spot, especially since he just pushed off a hand maybe the last time. And like you said, you are c-betting big in the 3 players.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I can think of. What I can think of is that, and then I had a lot of fun hands on the day one. On day one I had a real tough table draw. I probably knew 5 of the other 8 players at the table, and we kind of had a fun table. Everyone's having fun, and at 400, 800, everyone's got normal size stacks, 40, 50,000. Somebody moves the table on the first day with 180,000 at 800 big blind. So,
wow.
Yeah. And he was a little too used to running everyone over. He came to that table and
stacked with pros.
Yeah.
First of all, I want to say I sympathize with this guy. Whatever he does, I've done it 100 times. So Yeah, go ahead.
He went from 180 to 50 in about 4 levels. So
Oh, whoa.
Wow.
yeah, he was on full mega tilt mode, and it was a combination of me and a couple other people at the table just kept taking pots of him, and he couldn't fold, and it was, there was so many spots that were obvious. But he at 1,000, 2,000, this hand was a pretty big hand. He opened, and he was real aggressive. He opened a lot of pots, and I 3-bet with ace queen on the button. And he effectively started the hand with 75,000, so 38 bigs. And I started the hand with 130, so I had a lot of chips. And when I 3-bet him, I had the full intention of calling a shove if he's going to do it, just because he was waiting.
He was that tilted, or?
Yeah, he was waiting to give it to someone.
Yeah.
And he ended up, he shoved, and I tank called with ace queen. He had 2 7s and held, but that would have been a nice mega blow up we could have talked about, having 180,000 at 400, 800, which I've absolutely never had that many chips at that level.
Yeah, that's insane. That's like getting aces
pretty
3
sick.
times in a row, and the other poor bastards have kings.
Yeah, that's that aspect of that first table, and kind of how it's LA, where I should be getting such a better table draw, was a little frustrating, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
The guy who won the tournament, the end of day one, I get wrapped in the big stack, a pretty big stack near the, I 4-bet ripped ace queen with 65 big blinds. And when I had like over 70,000 in chips. And, Valentin, is that how you pronounce his name, or Valentine?
Yeah, I don't know.
So anyways, he's good too, obviously. But he's the opposite of Alex. He's very aggressive, so you can't give him credit for a hand when he raises it.
Yeah, I don't fault you for getting 65 bigs in there against him. I don't care what 2 cards you have.
I knew that, sir. That's why I called it a blow up at the beginning there. It was pretty bad. Well, Steve, we have an online crusher for many years here. Do you have any online hands we could bug Scott to talk about? Or
I do. I got one pulled up right now, actually. This one is from this is an online turbo tournament. I think it's a $33 buy-in on ACR. So I've got HUD stats on, guys. And this is a 6-handed turbo. We're full ring right now, so we have 6 players at the table. Blinds are 40-80. It folds around to me in the cutoff, and I have ace 3 offsuit. I've got the ace of spades, 3 of diamonds. And at the 40-80 level, my standard raise is 2-2-2, at least from this position. So I bump it up to 2-2-2. The button folds, small blind folds, and the big blind completes. So I have a stack of 4306. I've got 57 big blinds. The big blind has 63 big blinds, so he's got me covered. We're playing 57 bigs effective. I have 103 hands on him, and he's a 15-7 2.2. So he comes into 15% of the pots, 7% of the time he raises, and 2.2% of the time he 3-bets. His fold to 3-bet is 99, but we can't put too much credit into that because we only have 100 hands on him. But still, after 100 hands, he's only raised 7 times. So okay. I think that fairly tight. The flop comes out. Again, I've got ace of spades, 3 of diamonds, and the flop comes out king of clubs, 3 of spades, 2 of clubs. Okay, and the big blind checks. What are you guys thinking here?
Go ahead, Mike.
I was going to quickly ask Scott, but he says he's a big min raise. I was just going to ask about the pre-flop raise size in live tournaments or online. Is it always 2x for you, or maybe like late position sometimes with a marginal hand you bump it up?
It's always post ante for me is when I start min raising.
Okay, post ante is min raising.
Is that just for speed, or is that just to standardize everything, or what's the reason for that?
It's to polarize my range. You know, you'll never know if I have 3-5 suited or pocket aces.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Makes sense. I don't know, Steve. Yeah, he's not defending super wide, we have to assume. So, and he's not aggressive, so I would see that. But obviously, if he calls or raises, you have to be cautious here against this player here. You're not looking to get a lot of chips in. Probably rarely double barreling, depending on the card. But I would see bet. You got a pair.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm with Mike on this one. I think it's a C bet 100% of the time because you'd rather just take it down. You don't have too much showdown value, and every card on the turn is going to hurt you. So what I think you do is you bet about 199 or 200. You bet small. If he just completely whiffs, he has any kind of middle cards, he's just getting away. And then if he's the type of player, I don't know, to raise with king, queen, king, jack, it's I think it's a C bet.
Okay. Okay. So your sizing would be around 200-ish?
Yeah, it's specifically to when the big blind calls. My sizing's always smaller because they fold so often to a C bet.
Oh, that's interesting. I never thought of that.
Yep.
Yeah, that makes sense because they're so wide. I mean, especially the way people defend now. Even as tight as this guy is, he's defended 50% of his big blinds.
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
So, yeah, I guess I should have mentioned that. But, yeah, okay. Yeah,
Check shove. Check shove. If you're wrong, you can go get a beer.
Now we're talking.
No. Okay. Bad advice. Sorry, Steve.
Okay. Let's say this wasn't the big blind and this was the button instead. Same flop, and so he's not defending quite as wide as the big blind. What would your sizing then be? The pot is 484. So if it's 200 against the big blind, what would it be against the button, do you think?
Between 235 and 250.
Yeah, that's about what I do. Okay. All right. I'm going to adjust that. I like that a lot. So you can just make it a little bit smaller with the against the big blind. Okay. Well, I bet 233 into 484. I thought, like you guys, this is an auto C bet just because you got one high card, two little ones. On top of that, I have a pair, so I've got some equity here, and I think he's just getting rid of all his queen jacks and jack 10 and like that. And anyways, he calls. So we go to the turn, and the turn is the ace of clubs. So I have the ace of spades, three of diamonds, and the board is now ace of clubs, king of clubs, three of spades, two of clubs. And villain checks.
Yeah, I mean, you like the turn card for sure.
Okay, the pot is.
It's not a terrible check bet. Not even worried about the flush draw. But if he's got a king, this guy might be the sort who's just he's gonna be looking for an excuse to fold. Okay. Where you might get a better chance to get paid on the river if he's got a king if you check back the ace here.
Okay.
So for pot control / to hope to get one more street of value out of the guy, because we don't think he's floating with an ace there, do we? Probably not that frequently.
I'm going to agree with Mike.
Yeah,
I think he's definitely never floating. And then if he ever was floating, the ace just killed his float. So check back is the play, I think, because if he shoves, it's just the grossest spot. And you're pot controlling, and like Mike said, if you're checking back there, he's never going to put you on an ace, and you can get value from his king on the river.
Okay. I like that. Okay.
You're never getting three streets from his king queen here. So which street I would go the river, and you can even probably bump up the bet size a little bit. So yeah, I think the check back.
Okay. I like the way you guys think. Okay. I did not do that. I bet my two pair. The 9 and the 950. I went a little big. I went 555. And he calls. But yeah, I like a check back there because you can you control the size of the pot. If he was defending there with king 10, king jack, something like that. Now I give him the impression that the ace didn't help me either. Okay.
What do we? First of all, before we go to the river, what do we think about his call? It's kind of hard to range this guy right now. I'm thinking Yeah, I don't know. I guess he could have a king, 2 pair maybe, and certainly his flush draw. If he has a flush, I guess he should be flatting too, just to try to get you to barrel again.
Yeah, I think it screams king, queen, king, jack, king 10 with the club, with a queen, jack, or 10 of clubs. But also, he could have 2 pair. He could have a flush and he's trapping you. So because it is if he hit the flush, that is his ideal card to pop off, is the ace.
Yeah.
Right. Of course. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I was also. Oh, go ahead.
I don't hate a bet. Betting there is fine if you can specifically put this guy on a hand. You know, if you have him on king, queen, king, jack, king 10, obviously you only have 100 hands with them. But if you know you can get that, you're getting your second street of value by putting him on one of those hands. It's the right bet. So I don't hate a check or a bet. You know, it's like I think they're both very good plays.
Okay.
Before the now when he calls, you're already probably thinking, you know, what river cards am I betting, and what cards am I checking back? Can you maybe think about what you think about that? I mean, a club, I guess you probably got to check back. That even any pink card, I'd be tempted to check back too. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree.
Unless if he leads the river, we got another choice. But basically, we're not super confident in our hand at this point, and I think we're going to be checking back a lot of rivers. Is all I was going to say.
Yeah, I at this point I put him on something like you guys were saying. Maybe he flopped a set. Maybe a 2 pair. Maybe even something like there's 2-3. Maybe he's got 4-5. I mean, he's defending kind of wide out of the big blind, so at least for a nitty player, maybe he's got some kind of draw, or he just got the straight with the 4-5. And then I was thinking also maybe a flush, or like you said, maybe like king queen with the queen of clubs. You know. Something like that.
I'd be very surprised if he had a set. I would think he would raise one of these 2 streets. But
okay, yeah, good point. Yeah. Okay, all right. He calls. So now the pot is 2,060. So 2060. Villain has 3,900 behind. I've got 3,500, and the river is the 6 of hearts. So again, I've got ace of spades, 3 of diamonds, and the final board is ace of clubs, king of clubs, 6 of hearts, 3 of spades, 2 of clubs.
Yeah, before you say anything, that is your dream river card.
Okay, all right. No club, no face card.
Yeah, that's well said. I mean, I would still like my hand here for sure.
Okay. Villain checks.
Personally, I would be going for value. I think your bet is between 750 and 900 is your best bet, because you can't bet 1,200, 1,300, because if he shoves, you hate life, and then I think you're just trying to extract value on the river by betting 775, maybe 825, and you're maybe getting a king to get stubborn, or some kind of ace. I think that's what I would do.
Okay.
But this is an easy bet fold, though, right? I mean, you have to fold if he shoves.
Absolutely.
Okay. I bet 888. So I go on the little high side of what you were saying, but I was kind of in the same boat. I thought this might be a bet fold. I bet 888, and he insta shoves.
Yeah.
And at that point, I'm wishing I would have bet like 777. But this is why I brought this up. Was I was pretty sure this was a fold on the river, but I don't know.
Yeah, if he insta shoved, that would make me think. Personally.
Okay.
I think when you're trying to get value online, personally, I think people take 5 to 15 seconds to make it look like they have a decision. But Yeah, I mean, the that's a tough spot.
Okay.
Tough spot.
When I have these spots online, Scott, I don't know if you remember, I'm always like, man, I wish this was live poker. I think I could figure this out by looking at the guy.
Yeah, I'm the same
online. Online, you got 100 hands. You're like, what the fuck, you know?
Yeah.
What is he doing?
Is this some old lady sitting at the computer, or is this like some 16-year-old kid, or who am I even playing right now?
So what is your actual price here? You're not even getting 2-to-1, right? You need to be right 40% of the time. No, give me the numbers, Steve.
Okay, let's see. The pot is 29.48. So let's just call it 3,000. I have 26 behind, and he shoves. You know what? Let me get.
He shoved 3,900, right? So
Yeah, but I only have 35, so the effective is. Let's see. Okay, I got the pot is 29.50.
3,500 to win 6,400. So a little less than 2-to-1. You'd be winning.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah, exactly. 60.
If I'm playing well, I fold here for sure. But
yeah, personally, I think the turbo aspect comes into it a little bit. If depending on what type of player you are, if you play the big stack well, and you only have to be right, 30. You have to be right something like 35 to 45% of the time. You take the spot, you call, you have a big stack. You're going to be able to do well in a turbo. Now it's vice versa too. If I don't know what the other players are running on the HUD there, but I think it's a fine fold because you still have 25 bigs, and depending on how the other players shove fold game is, you could have an exploitable spot.
Yeah. Okay.
So there's two. I think there's two ways. I think it's the math is really, really close on that one. I think Mike would agree.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. It'd be strange to. I mean, this is exactly how he would play the nuts. Obviously, there's no point for him raising the turn,
right?
Unless he thinks you're just going to. Unless he's, like you said, just crossing his fingers, hoping you have an ace, then you're going to. Yeah, I think it's fold. Those early stages, like late stages, I probably find a fold. Just because, like, hey, I got to spend 3 hours in this damn tournament. Early stage, I know this shouldn't be a factor, but like 40-80, I'd be okay, fuck it, I can give me a stack here, and then I can really go to work. So, Steve, what did you do here?
I folded. I tanked, hit the time clock, and sat there and thought, and I thought, okay, if I let this go, I got 25, 30 bigs. What's the move here? And the only thing that kept sticking out in my mind was I'm like, I think the minimum he's doing this with is a set, and like you said, I think along the way somewhere he would have raised a set. I just couldn't get a flush out of my mind, and it was the check shove on the river that really did it, and there was something about him shoving instantly that just felt like, yes, my plan worked, and then he shoved.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to say. I mean, if he's good enough to shove shove a pair of kings with a big club, then hats off to him.
Yeah.
Played it well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think what it is you only have 100 hands on him. If you had 250 hands, you're going to make obviously a better educated decision there. But I think ultimately fold is the right play.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I dropped it and then proceeded to take a note because I didn't know if that was the right move or not. But
that's a good one. Steve, if Scott doesn't mind, you got another hand for us?
I do have another hand. Let me pull it up right now.
Keep it coming. I love it.
Okay. Okay. Let me run through here real quick. Make sure this is the one.
But what's your live versus online, Scott? I mean, just talking about whether it's C-bet or not. I mean, do you have to worry about balance live less? Just like when I have it, I'm going to C-bet every time because they're going to fold too much. And when I have a big hand, I'm just going to be betting big every time because they're not going to fold enough, kind of thing.
Yeah, I think for live, I think there's so many people that play their hands face up, and you can get away with tiny c-bets or bigger c-bets when you have it, and someone that's calling you, you're going to be able to pretty much analyze what he has within 2 streets of betting. Or even if his mannerisms are giving away that he's not going to fold. Like the way he calls, you can tell it's like, hey, this little man's just not going to fold. He's fed up with me. Or vice versa, where he's a little tentative, and if I fire a big bet on the turn, that's different. Now, versus online, I do play differently online. Obviously, if I have a big stack, you can push people around, but there's something about online where people do not like to fold, and if you're able to play well post-flop, you can get so many more people to just give it away. That is online is a very puntable thing for other players.
Yeah.
It's well said, yeah.
That's true. I think it's just because it's the instant button clicking thing. As soon as you bust one, you can just re-enter right in another. Whereas the live tournaments, like you got to get in your car, you got to pack a lunch, you got to drive all the way down there, get out of your car, go buy in. And then there's the shame of busting with 7 high when all the other people at the table can see what you did.
But I think if you're assuming, I don't know what percentage of online players have a HUD, but you're going to assume, like if I see a guy c-betting 100%, obviously, that information's out there. So I don't know if you have to worry more about that. But I heard Ari Engel getting interviewed, of course, who's like Mr. Circuit too. And they're asking about balance. He's like live circuit events, you don't even think along those lines. Yeah, pretty much saying what you're saying. You know what they have so often. You can just respond accordingly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, Stevie, what do you got for us here, buddy?
Okay, we are in the big blind with Queen of Diamonds, 10 of Spades. So Queen 10 offsuit in the big blind.
Same tournament? Turbo?
No, this is a different tournament. This is a 55. $55 buy-in, and we are 8-handed on America's Card Room, winning Poker Network. Okay, so it folds around to the button, who min raises. So the levels right now are 250, 500, and 400 in antes. The button min raises to 1,000. The small blind calls. And we're never 3-betting here, right? We're always completing?
I don't know.
I've got 30 bigs. I guess that's relevant. I've got 30 bigs. The small blind has 115, and the button has 70 bigs.
Yeah, I think the only time you're 3-betting is if you know the button is raising every time, and if the small blind has over 100 bigs and he's just calling everything, I think it's an okay spot to 3-bet, but Peel is probably your best bet. Just call, see the flop.
Okay. The numbers on the button, 112 hands. He's a 20, a 10, 2.1.
Okay.
The small blind is a 30, 19, 12.2, and I have 100 hands on him as well.
Yeah, it's a call.
Okay. All right. I call. We go to the flop. There's 3,400 in the pot. I've got Queen 10 offsuit, and the flop is Jack of clubs, 9 of spades, 7 of clubs. So we flop open-ended. We have 1 spade for whatever that's worth, no clubs. The small blind, he bets, he clicks the half pot button, so he makes it 1,700. 5,100 in the pot right now. We have 13,800 behind.
Mike, you want to start?
Oh, that's an interesting spot.
I thought so too.
I guess folding is atrocious. I'm trying to decide if I want to raise or flat here. I guess raise folding feels pretty bad, especially at your stack size.
Yeah.
If I'm gonna raise, I'm gonna raise pretty big, so it's like you're pot committed, and it doesn't look like a draw, probably. It looks like a draw. Is it a rainbow flop?
No, it's a 2-tone. So there's 2 clubs out there and 1 spade, and we don't have a club.
Right. Although if there is a flush draw out there, that increases the chances of this guy finding a call with reshoving middle pair kind of thing. Yeah, I wish you were a little deeper, so I'd feel more comfortable just flatting because, I would probably just call here.
Okay.
But it's gonna be it might be hard to get paid on this hand too. So I don't know if you have quite the implied odds because this guy's donk lead I don't think is super strong. Probably a one pair hand. Like if you hit the king, that could shut it down.
Even
if
an
another heart
8 too,
comes,
because
kind of thing.
if we hit an 8, then any 10 makes a straight. And although we got the nuts.
Oh, that's right too. Yeah, the 7's out there.
Yeah, so it's 7-9 or Jack 9-7. So it just felt like a super weird, awkward spot. That's why I marked it.
I'll let Scott take over here, but I don't know if I'd even hate the fold really here too much. Actually, now that I think about it.
Yeah, I think what comes into factor on this one is how you've played 100 hands with the small blind, correct?
Yeah.
So I think if you picked up any patterns of him always donk leading with top or middle pair, comes into play. If you haven't been picking up, like, I don't know if you're multi-tabling or what it is, but I think it's a call a lot. But at the same time, if you think this is the type of player that's leading half pot a lot and then getting away from people raising him, I don't mind a raise or a shove.
A raise or a what?
A raise or just going all in, a shove.
Oh, okay.
Now, I think specifically because, someone that has 100 big blinds, you don't know if he's the player that can actually think about calling or if he just has top pair and he's going to click call no matter what, or the type of player that with that many chips is like, okay, I don't want to give away 30 big blinds here with just Jack, Jack Queen, Jack 10, Jack 9. Or no, Jack 9, no, it's two pairs. So I guess I'd probably flat, but I don't think it's out of the question for if he's one of those players that's playing too many pots and c-betting always or donk leading like that. I think a shove, it looks strong enough to get him off a lot of his one pair hands.
Yeah,
right.
Okay.
That's true. Although I don't think he has a lot of crappy jacks in his range there since he's calling from the small blind. It should be Jack 10 or better, maybe a couple. So if he has a jack, I think it's, like I said, it's probably a pretty strong jack, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, I'm agreeing with Mike there. I think now that I'm kind of reevaluating it's Jack 8-7, he can't not have, or Jack 9-8, correct?
Jack 9-7.
Jack 9-7. Okay, so yeah, Jack 8 and Jack 10 are probably never folding, so it's probably a flat. It's just I think you have the option of going all in if he's one of those players that just clicks the half pot no matter what and then folds.
Okay. Yeah, I don't remember anything like that on him, but his numbers are 30-19, 12.2 after 100 hands. So the guy's active. He's mixing it up.
So you have 13,000 in your stack, and there's over 5,000 in the pot.
There's 5,100 in the pot. I have just short of 14,000.
I mean, even if you saw Ace Jack face up and shoved your queen, you have 11 outs, so it wouldn't even be a horrible play, almost a call shove there. I mean, if you saw that he had just one jack, you still can't call wanting to draw, but the queen might be good too. So just putting that out there.
That's a good point.
So yeah, like the shove. Yeah, the more I think about it, I wasn't really thinking about how many chips are out there compared to your stack, but shove is maybe the play.
I remember in game I was thinking if I shove here or raise, it's going to look exactly like what my hand is. It's going to look like a draw. And then I was afraid they were just going to call with any jack, maybe even a 9. But although if they had a 9, I don't know that I would mind a call because then a 10 or a queen could be an out along with an 8 and a king. Anyhow, I elected to call. So I call 1,700. And the button folds. So we go to the turn heads up. I've got queen of diamonds, 10 of spades, and the turn is the king of spades. So we turn the nuts. The board is now king of spades, jack of clubs, 9 of spades, 7 of clubs. The pot is 6,800, and small blind leads out again for half pot. He bets 3,400.
Yeah, I would. I think a lot of people would shove here, but because your hand's so strong, I know there's 2 flush draws now with 2 spades and 2 clubs, but I'm 100% of the time just calling and let this guy hang himself.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I agree.
Plus, he's got a lot of chips. He might shove the river with his or call the river with his 1 pair if he checks to the river to you. But yeah, you're hoping he's got King Jack here.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah, I thought exactly the same thing right after I shoved, and then he snap folded. And I thought, wait a minute, what were you doing? And you know what it is? I think maybe I don't know if it was because there's 2 flush draws out there, or I don't know. I don't know why I shoved there, because it seems like such an obvious flat. Because he's pretty much setting up a river put me all in, because he bet 34 half pot again. If I call, then that's going to leave like 13K in the pot. I'll have 9 behind. It'll be the perfect.
Steve, you fucked up the hand, Steve. We don't have to handle it.
Don't justify it.
It's me shoving 65 big lines with ace queen off. That's fucking grinding for 10 hours.
Yeah, you're right. Okay.
Yeah, I think the shove is fine. The shove is fine too, because you can get him to still call with maybe Jack 10 or some kind of hand where he can still hit a straight, and he just goes, well, I have too much committed, I have to call. But
I take out all of his air. You know what I mean? All his air, he's just letting it go.
That's true.
You know?
But on the other hand, he could put you on the draw, I guess. Whereas, like, if the third heart or spade comes on the river, he's just done with his jack, because now he can't beat a king and can't beat a flush draw. So, I mean, I guess that would be the rationale for shoving, if you think he's got a pair and just he's going to shove it down the river. But yeah, I think calling was the play there for sure.
Yeah, I think you're right.
So Scott, what do what do your poker plans look like for the next few months? We'll assume you're going to have a nice trip in Tunica and have a final table and lock up 20 more points.
That's the plan. And then the LAPC is coming, so that starts, I want to say, early February, I'm not sure when it starts, but the LA Poker Classic is like 3 months long. It's just so long. I can actually
Wow.
It's a marathon, so I'll map out a little schedule for me and play those. And then I think I'm also kind of working on getting my real estate license. I do love poker, and I think it's something I could do, but I kind of want to have a little side job where I can do that, and then also play poker as much as I want.
Real estate's fun, man. I enjoy it. I got into it probably 10 or 12 years ago, and I dig it. It's fun. It's
cool.
fun.
Yeah. You can kind of make your own schedule a little bit with real estate. I'm assuming you're another lazy ass poker player who can't do a 9 to 5, so that's the advantage of that too, I'm guessing, right?
Yeah, very true. Me being a poker player, if I choose not to get out of bed that day, I want to have that choice.
Right. I agree with that 100%. Looking ahead to Vegas, we can really jump down the line here a little bit. What do you think your approach will be any different this? Did you just run bad this past summer, or do you need a new approach? Do you think some to optimize your play?
You know what? I think the new approach is. I think what I'm going to do is definitely do the weekend, all the weekend ones of the WSOP. The Colossus, the Monster Stack, the Millie Maker. Those are givens, but I'm going to take, I tried to play every day this summer. I'm going to try to take a little more time off, get my, not burn myself out is the correct way to put it.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I got after, because I think one of the first tournaments I played was the Colossus, and I got in the 600s in that. So, it's a great start to the summer, and then just started the blank city happening, and my mindset was right, and then I bubbled a couple tournaments, and there was a couple Venetians that came back for day 2 and just bubbled, just didn't make the money. And I was like, okay, well, now I'm going to go drink for 12 hours and see what happens.
Right.
So I think I
Well,
need to have...
you're due, man. How much are you gonna have? Did you sell a decent part of yourself last summer, at least to
Yeah, I sold
soften the
30%.
blow?
Yeah, 30%. So it softened. It did soften it.
South Carolina, what's the Southern California, the LA real estate show? How did you decide upon real estate? I'm just curious.
You know what?
You have a buddy who does that, or?
Yeah, I've actually got I've got a good friend that's doing it, and his mom is kind of like a tycoon down here. She is. If you need to know anything about real estate, she knows it, and she told me she'd love to have me work there if I get my real estate license. Show me the ins and outs of it, and just kind of have that connection. And me with having a little bit of a sales background when I did sell cars, I think it'd be a perfect fit.
Okay. I was picturing you around seedy card rooms at 1-2, trying to convince people they can afford a condo if they hit a straight. You know what I mean? So, yeah, it sounds like your plan is much better than that. So.
Yeah, I can always slick back my hair, wear a suit, and go sweet talk the 1-2 players.
Convince them they could afford a condo if they hit a straight. We have fun every week here, Scott.
I think I was thinking to do that, Steve, when I was recovering from a back surgery in Florida, and I'm like, I don't want to go back to the post office. I'll start studying real estate. And then I went, this is Naples, Florida, and it's like somebody told me like more than 10% of the population has a real estate license. I don't know if that's accurate, but I mean, everywhere you go, my hairdresser, oh, you thinking of living here? I'm selling, it's just the reek of desperation of just the oversaturation of the market. But if you got a connection, obviously, someone who really knows the business, that's a whole different game.
Yeah, I don't think I have the personal motivation to just do it by myself and just go cold call for weeks among weeks among weeks. I think I would just say, okay, well, fuck this. I'm going back to 1-2.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
So I think without the connection, I wouldn't do it. But with that, I think it's a step in the right direction to have, because I'm going to do well in poker. I feel no matter what I do, but having a nice little backup there would help my situation.
Yeah. Right on. Cool. Well, thank you for coming on, Scott. This was fun.
Yeah, it's been fun. Thanks for having me on. I'm glad Mike found me on Twitter, and the social media world is a crazy thing.
It is.
Yeah, man. And I'll see you in LA soon.
Yeah, definitely. And if you guys ever want to talk, chat hands, or anything like that, feel free to have me back on. I'm always available.
Awesome. Do you have any plugs you want to put in your Twitter or anything, or?
No, I guess, yeah, you can always follow me on Twitter. It's YaBoyStu. That was my name back on the online days. It's YaBoyStu. And that's really all. I'm not too big on Twitter, but, feel free to follow me on Facebook or Instagram, whatever it is. Same tag, so YaBoy.
Buy him a beer if you see him in LA. He'll be grateful.
Yes, just look for the beard.
I will return the favor.
Okay, man. I hope to hang out with you soon. Have a great day.
You guys take it easy.
You guys have a good one, and thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to hit up the webinar. I will see you there on Tuesday. You guys have a great week, and here is your weekly motivational speech.
And don't give up on yourself. Don't throw the towel in so quickly. Many people give up on the 1-yard line.
I want you to get to a place in your life that every mistake you make, every setback you get, right? Every obstacle that you don't overcome, every barrier you can't climb. I don't want you to give up, but I want you to fail forward. Every mistake you make has to be another stepping stone, another building block.
And you've got to learn how to tune out the critics outside and the critic inside. And since I'm going to do this, I'm going to harness my will, and I'm not going to let anything stop me. I deserve this. See, the last chapter to your life has not been written yet, and it doesn't matter about what happened yesterday.
We don't give up. We don't surrender. We don't quit. We see differently. Our perspective is different. And because our perspective is different, our outcomes are different. Our rewards are different.
Okay, good deal. Okay, are you in a place where you can, 'cause I hear a lot of, remember how it was with Tony last week? Like the thing kept rubbing up against his shirt and...
I'm walking along the street in a rainstorm. I thought this would, I thought the ambiance would be kind of cool, you know?
Are you really?
Yeah, you know, it's like the end of the world, like a zombie apocalypse, and you know, I'm walking around on a gray, miserable day, and you're asking me questions about pot odds. I guess I'll go sit in my car.
Okay.
Although, yeah, I don't know. Although one of my favorite episodes is me walking around outside the Rio having a conversation, because it's like, you know, it's like hot off the presses kind of shit, you know.
Okay. All right. Fuck it. Let's run it.
But no, I'll just go to my car. We'll see if the sound will be a little better there.
Yeah, it was. I'm remembering the spot where you were talking about, and it was really good. You were talking about with Tony. You were talking about how having a having a flush draw adds that much more to your you think it may just be a couple percent, but it's actually even higher than that. And all you could hear in the background was just shit like this, and it just got lost.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, hold on. I'll be in my car in 2 minutes here. I'm walking back down the street towards it.
Okay.